Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
PremierBilliards.com. Exceptional cues, cases, and accessories from top-tier brands. Want it? Need it? Find it. PremierBilliards.com.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dogging It. I'm only Mike here, and I got Pinozo in the back. We're about to bring on in. We're down to the final 8 at this year's World Championships, and the competition's only getting better and better and heating up, and I'm pumped. Federer just came off of a match, a big win against Chris Melling, another tight one for him. So one American left. SVB is out, but we're going to jump on into the action, starting with the final 16. Let me bring on Mike here via Saudi. Pinozo, buddy, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
How is it out there, Mike? It's getting pretty tense. Just watching from home.
It is. I'll tell you what, it is tense, and I'm giving them a little bit of space, but I want to talk to some of the favorites that didn't make it through because, as we've talked about already this week, the anxiety and stress level and pressure here just seems to be ratcheted up.
Yep.
And I think it really weared on a couple of the top players. And I don't think that, it's about the money, sure, but I don't think it was like about, I need to win 250. I think it was, they had expectations where I'm going to get to top 8. I'm going to get 25, 30,000. I'm going to get to Final 4. I'm going to get, 50,000, whatever. I think they had that kind of pressure on themselves. And, man, they were going down, dropping like flies around here. And we kind of thought that was going to happen too, right? We kind of thought there was going to be some unexpected people in the Final 4, and, it's starting to shape up that way.
No, for sure. And I think for me, Mike, it's kind of like, I know there's history here with the World Pool Championship, but I think it's almost like it's kind of like a fresh start. And I think everyone wanted to be like the first guy. Everybody wants to be the first guy to get the 250. Does that make like not so much just the money, but like it's kind of, it seems like a brand new event in a sense where like I want to be the first guy to get the big check. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything that goes with it. It's just, it's this event's gone next level, and everybody was so excited to be part of it, and they put a lot of expectations on themselves.
Well, Mike, the day started off with a ton of drama. The former Spanish Open champion Dang Junhui takes down Mickey Kraus by a score of 11-6. Are we going to see another repeat of a run from the Chinese superstar, Mike?
Quite possible. I mean, obviously he's a great player, and Mickey had him down 4-0 early in that match, and then next thing I looked up, it was 9-4. He's in there. He's in the mix for sure. He hasn't taken out one of the top dogs yet, but he's in there.
Well, he's going to have a tough task.
Obviously, we look at this. We ended up with 3 Filipinos and 2 Polish players.
I mean, about the class of what you'd expect, Mike. Like when you think about top countries and just their depth, right? Like those are 2 countries that come to the top of everyone's list. You know what I mean? Like consistently. And so, but seeing. And I talked about this last night with Ray, like just seeing the grind from the Filipinos and the way that they handle pressure like consistently, is why I picked them. And it showed its face here this morning when, Jeff takes out David 11-4, and David's been super consistent. And then probably one of the hottest players in this tournament in Mohamed Soufi goes down by a scoreline of 11-8 to Johan Chua. Personally, Mike, I think we're on a crash course to see an all-Filipino semifinal. But give me your thoughts on how the Pinoys played up top.
You know what? They all had tough matches, and they all just blasted through. I mean, Jeff looked really good against David. The Chua Sophie match was really good up till about 6-6. I think it was around there. Johan pulled away a little bit at the end there. It was really an entertaining match. And then of course Raga taking down Filler. That guy, he's something to watch. He is something to watch, that Anton Raga.
No, he's an exciting player for sure, but that's a big win, Mike. I mean, to beat a guy like Josh, probably the odds-on favorite to win the event. Yeah. It's a strong showing and definitely a confidence booster if you're Anton. What's the ceiling like for him? Do you feel like, Mike?
What's the what? I'm sorry.
What's his ceiling for Anton?
250.
Yeah,
I'm
it ain't gonna
sure
be
he can get
easy.
there. No, it's not going to be easy, but he looks as good as anybody right now. But we talk about the Filipinos and the Polish players, but if you look at most people watching this event right now, the guy that they've got their eyes on is Kachi.
Why do you say that, Mike?
Oh, he's just been playing like a beast. He's breaking the balls like a monster. I don't think he's had a close match.
No.
He's really been crushing it. He's really looked good,
Yeah, I mean, listen, we saw his
and we
form
know
last year.
what he's like when he's in gear and he feels comfortable and he's got that steam train rolling. It's hard to stop.
Well, that's the thing, Mike, is like we all know we've all seen him dominate an event from like wire to wire. You know what I mean? We've seen him, and a lot of it's on the back of that big break that he could have. But like, he can be pinpoint whenever he's dialed in. Now I know the last event,
He's got
it
the
looked
full
like he was
package.
still, yeah, I mean, it looked like he was still working through some issues, but he seems to have found knocked off all the rust at just the right time here, Mike.
Yeah, yeah, no, he looks pretty good this week. He looks comfortable. You know what he's like. He just kind of like nods his head and shakes his head and just plods on to the next match and then just buries somebody. So, got a chance to talk to him after his match earlier today, and he was like a machine. He was up on Beisterbosch 7-0 before Jeff got out of his chair. So it was a clinic.
Did he run 7?
Uh, I didn't see every rack, but I didn't see Jeff get much table time.
Yeah, yeah. Down below, Mike, the former world 10 ball champion Wojciech takes out SVB, broke a lot of hearts in the process, Mike. But Shane never really looked
Well,
comfortable, never really caught a gear, Mike. And this was something
he
that we talked
looked
about throughout the event.
he looked worse today than I think I've seen him in ages. He missed shots. You couldn't, and it wasn't just, one critical shot here and there. He missed shots that you couldn't believe a guy of his caliber can miss. And then his safety play was off, loose. He was getting beat to the shot when there was any kind of exchange safety wise. He just, and still it was 7-7,
Yeah.
and I thought he had a chance to maybe, get
It
his
looked like he was
stroke a
going to
little bit
go
at
up
the end.
8-7 and then dogged it.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, he really looked awful, which was a shame because this was a good, he had a nice, no one's got a soft run from here, but his route to the final didn't look too bad.
Well, look, I talked about this last night, man. Wojciech was just a real big trap for a player like Shane. You know, Wojciech's just such a steady player. And we saw in the last event, Mike, just how much that mental, like, just how if you're mentally strong, how much that can help you fade like the ebbs and flows of the match. And I think Wojciech kind of epitomized that. You know what I mean? Like you never really see him get high or low. I don't even think I saw him celebrate after he wins a world.
Yeah, but truth is, he didn't play great.
No, but
He
it's
didn't
just
play
that
great.
steady
Otherwise,
factor where
Shane.
like where
Otherwise,
where
it
you don't
shouldn't have
get.
been 7-7. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I
yeah,
guess
he left a lot of openings, but he is a very steady, consistent guy. He's
yeah.
not going to get flustered. He's not going to slump in his chair. He's going to stay in there and hang in there. But on most days, the way he played today, Shane would win.
Yeah, disappointing for sure for Shane, but he got some Mosconi Cup points in the process, which is good. Everyone expects him to make the team, so there's not going to be any
Yeah,
like drama when it comes to that. Down below, you got Victor, a guy vying for a Mosconi Cup spot, takes out Joao Grillo,
look
11-3. Mike, pretty
looked
strong for
really
Victor.
good. Victor looked really good. It's a good event for him. He's had some good matches. Um, Listen, I'd love to see this kid win this thing.
Agreed.
I would
Agreed.
love. Yeah, I mean, with everything he's been through with the Polish Federation, and we know how like you know conflicted he is, and he's a guy who really thinks overthinks all this stuff through and puts so much pressure on himself.
It weighs on
And
him
I would,
for sure.
it does, and I said somebody I said, listen, I'd love to see him take first place and just say, Independence Day for Victor, guys. You
Yeah.
know, flip off the Polish Federation and off you go. 250 for the next couple of years to play in the WMP.
Yeah, no, I mean he's for me personally just like the story that I want to see come
Yeah,
out of here, Mike. You
great,
know what I mean? Like just
great.
from everything that I've talked with the kid over the last, a year really. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you've seen like that constant trend, but you've also seen flashes where he talks super highly of him. You know what I mean? He's been a pick pretty consistently to, go deep in an event. I think we all agree that he's knocking on the door. It's showing he's showing why in this tournament.
yeah.
Um,
And
this
ironically, he looks more comfortable here than I've seen him in a lot of other tournaments.
Well, why do you think that is, Mike? Do you think it's because of that, saying goodbye to the
I don't
Federation?
know. I know because he's still kind of embroiled in that whole thing. I saw him sitting down with the WPA guys, and he's still trying to sort his way through the right decision for him to be able to go forward. He's supposed to play in the Maldives, but that's is the Polish Federation going to pull rank on him there? I mean, who knows? So he's got all that in my mind. And I told him, I said, listen, you got to put that off to the side. You got a tournament to play here, buddy. Just focus on playing and worry about that stuff later.
Stay in the now, Mike. That's for sure. If you're
Yep.
the kid, you know what I mean. Just
Yeah.
stay in the moment. Obviously, these two guys are going to have a lot of history, and they're good friends. But boy, it's a good win for Victor, and at just the right time. Down below, Mike, you mentioned Anton a little bit ago. By far, living up to the hype.
Yeah.
11-7 win for the young Filipino over Josh Filler. You think it was more Anton doing Anton things, or Josh not looking quite like himself?
Josh wasn't 100%. He didn't make a bunch of blunders, but just enough to have a guy like Anton punish you. And Anton played a really good match. He made a couple little mistakes himself, but who doesn't in these matches? But he looked strong. He looked comfortable. He looked confident. You'll just see him like he's so interesting to watch around the table because he's always got his lips pursed and he like stalks around the table and moves really quickly and then he gets on the shot and he just kind of seems like he lunges at it and but he just fires in shots that you wouldn't think he would even bother taking. He did one last night when it was Hill against Mario He. That I think everybody thought he was going to duck and play safe, and he just went for the shot and it was sink or swim. So love watching him play.
He's got this like fun level of determination, Mike. And it kind of
Yeah,
reminds me. It kind of reminds me of Dennis in a lot of aspects, Mike. That's what I give the comparison to. Now, Dennis at times can have moments where like he overthinks like what he's trying to do, but
yeah.
like once Dennis commits, that's where I see like flashes of Anton. You know what I mean? Where he's just
Yeah.
like like you said, he's kind of got this like stalking kind of nature to him, and he's not afraid to take on a big shot either, which I just love personally.
No, not at all. Not at all. He doesn't shy away from much.
Well, he's
And
going to
then
have his.
at the
Go ahead,
bottom,
Mike.
you got Federer against Chris. Chris Melling had a really good tournament. He looked really good, looked really sharp for not really having played nine ball in a year. Um, but Federer got out to a 9-5 lead and was running out and looked like it was, pretty much going to be close the door and ended up playing shape on a six where he ended up having to shoot over a ball, made the six, but left a really long shot on the seven that he ended up missing. Next thing you know, Chris, makes it 9-9. But Chris was making the one on the break every time, but he wasn't really getting that open shot on the two. So he was having to try to play for the first shot. And at 9-9, he lost that battle, and then Federer ran off the last game.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is what me and Ray were talking about yesterday. Is like if Federer can dodge the matches where like you almost lose, you know, like now
Well,
you got a chance
he's
to
making
hit
it
your
he's making
gear.
it a habit. He's making it a habit here. I saw him after the match, and I said 11-9. I said it's like a blowout to you. He said, "Yeah, I robbed him."
Yeah, it's either Federer's about to hit his gear and snap this whole thing off, or you're not going to want to do that against Anton because Anton's going to punish you. Like
Yeah,
that's
no.
that's kind of where you're at in this one, Mike. Because
Federer and
um,
Anton is going to be one entertaining match. I was looking forward to Federer Filler, but I think this may almost be more fun.
well, I like the fact that Anton's just got this like heart that you can't measure. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah,
um, but I've seen Federer. like take apart Filipino players before, Mike. You know what I mean? Where I thought they were going to be like really intriguing matches where it would be, nip and tuck. But Federer's
Yeah,
got a way of just like once he starts riding that wave, he just stays there, Mike, and then it's just break, run, break, run, break, run,
yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
he
we'll
can
see. I mean,
put
yeah,
you on ice.
I think you're right. I think he's probably, you know, maybe a little bit relieved not to be seeing Josh, but
I don't know.
no.
He's had Josh's number, but I agree with you. I agree with you.
Well,
You
how
know,
long are you going to have Josh's number? I mean, if
well,
you're going to play the
I think he's
odds,
more in Josh's head than anybody would care to admit. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Federer was going to give him all the respect in the world, but I think Josh knows it. Josh knows that Federer has had the better of him now, but Josh is the kind of guy who can process that into like further inspiring him to dig deeper. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so Anton's never really faced like well, I mean, Anton's got the ability to beat Federer for sure, but it's gonna be a heavyweight fight, no doubt. Mike,
It is.
going through the final weight, Dang against Chua. Mike, who do you like in that matchup?
I've kind of like in my head bet against two of the last couple matches, and he just keeps getting it done. He's playing really well. Dang is, he's kind of a wild card in here, but that's a pretty even matchup right there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. You know what? Like Chua's just got all these intangibles that you can't account for. You know what I mean? I don't think he's the best breaker. I don't think he's the best tactically, but I think like he's just got this drive to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just to figure out a way to win a match. And there's times in this tournament where he hasn't looked so sharp, but then there's been other times where he's been extremely fluid.
yeah.
You're in the final eight of a world championship. Filipinos, unlike any other, really play for their heart, for their country.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it's his style is kind of the Filipino style.
it is very
Whatever it
much so.
takes to get done. Whether you got to run out, whether you got to get into a safety battle and place in one pocket, whatever you got to do, you find your way to do it. But you know the heart's going to be there, and you know the confidence is going to be there.
Dang Jin Hu is something pretty special, Mike. I saw
He
this,
is.
a year ago when his break was there. I remember that match where he lost the Sky in the Spanish Open, and it was the first time in a long time where I saw a guy lose where I thought that dude can still win the event because like it's just a
Yeah.
little bit of adjusting is all he has to do to just be able to suffocate a player. Here he is again in the final weight, but this time it's the World Championship, Mike. I think it's going
Yeah.
to be a super close matchup with Johan. I'm rooting for Johan, but I wouldn't put it past it to see Dang go on another magical run. Down below, Jeff Ignacio versus a Clint Kachi. Can Jeff do whatever he's got to do to take out Big Kachi here, Mike?
Tall order. This to me is the matchup that looks the most, if you can say, one-sided in the final eight. I
Really?
think Kachi's. I think Kachi's. Man, he just doesn't look like he can possibly even get into a close match the way he's been playing.
Yeah, you know what? Whenever you can overwhelm a player, it's obviously you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable. But there's certain guys that can just like stand up whenever it's time, Mike. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter the name,
Yeah,
doesn't matter the
yeah,
moment. You don't really get overwhelmed by the situation. And Jeff just kind of epitomizes all those attributes, Mike. I think
yeah.
Kachi's
No,
gonna have
he's
his hands full extremely well. Obviously, Kachi will go into it being the favorite, Mike, but I don't know, man. Something just tells me it might be Jeff's time here to make it into a final. Call me crazy here, Mike.
that would make an interesting, semi if it was Jeff against Johan.
I hope so. Listen, I root for the Filipinos. I think it's gonna be. I think it's them two. But like the crazy part is, you could justify like any combination here up top, and you wouldn't be so
Sure.
surprised, Mike. You know what I mean? Like
No,
you really can.
no, no, no.
Um,
The whole final
all
eight, you wouldn't be surprised what four come out of here, period.
for sure, Mike. Down below, you got Wojciech against Victor, Mike. Who's gonna come through there?
I like Victor. Victor's playing really well. Looks comfortable, like I said. Wojciech's going to have to play better than he did against Shane.
Do you think it might be kind of what we might see here between the Filipinos, where like it's going to be tough to play your buddy here?
Well, it's certainly tough to play your countrymen, somebody you've played all the time, practiced with, traveled with, things like that. I think that always adds There's a weird little element to it where you both think you know the other's, weaknesses or whatever. So yeah, it'll be a good matchup.
Look, I think it's the real deal, Mike. There's something to it where like you just can't get up against your guy. And I've seen that with other guys. I think Melling said the same thing whenever he played Elliott. Where like it's just hard to play a guy that you know very well.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of like big brother little brother dynamic here, although they're both like
right.
6 feet plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
right. No,
um, obviously Wojciech is the more decorated. I think we all let's get a little louder, Mike. I think we all kind of think that Victor's got a little bit more talent. At least I do personally. I'd love to see him pull through here, Mike, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for
it
sure.
is going to be tough. Yeah,
And you know what? Like I wonder how much that level of like the steadiness of Wojciech versus how Victor can kind of get a little mental, how much that's going to play a role into the importance of what this next win can mean for you, Mike.
yeah. Well, you know that if Wojciech's thinking about it, he's going to try to get Victor to get down on himself. I'm sure he's been around him long enough to know what Victor can be like. So
Yeah, I'm I'm really I can't wait to watch that matchup. It's going to be good. And I'm sure it'll be on TV table number 2. Finally, the box office matchup of the entire round
yeah,
of 8: Anton versus Federer here, Mike. I you know what? I don't know how to call this matchup at all, Mike. To be honest with you,
I just wanted to, well, if it's better the way things have been going, it's going to be 11-10 or 11-9. So
right?
it should be entertaining.
If it is that way, then I don't think I think Anton may just beat him out of the gym, Mike. Because I don't think you can let that guy stick around. Especially coming off of a win over Filler. He's going to have a lot of confidence, right? He's just going to be looking to
Yeah.
attack. Um, Federer Federer, I feel like whenever he gets in these spots, and he gets in these spots pretty consistently, Mike, like, he stays in that top 8 range. And this is about whatever, like, you would consistently bet on Federer making a top 8 of a major. But what I've
Yeah.
seen during these times, Mike, is that whenever it gets time, the shot clock can kind of creep up on Federer a little bit. And you start watching throughout a match where you're going to start hearing 5 consistently, 4,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
2. You know what I mean? And it just starts to like
Sooner or
just
later, it's going to
continue
take its
like
toll.
it
Yeah.
it creeps up on you over and
Yeah.
closer and closer and closer, and then by the time you know it, now if it is that close spot of a match, I like the guy who's got a little bit more rhythm and who's more fluid. You know what I mean? And that being
Yeah.
Anton, where I feel like he can just go more with instinct
You
versus
can bounce from
I'm
one
really,
shot to the next. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so
Yeah. I agree.
that
It's not a bad
that
thing.
that would be the only like potential downfall I feel like for Federer. But damn, Mike, when I watch sports, and I said this last night, when a guy dodges this many bullets, you just feel like it's his time. You
It's his
know,
time. Yeah. Yeah. You feel like it.
you know what I
And
mean.
again,
And
nothing's going
that
to surprise Federer at this point. Nothing's going to
no,
surprise Federer at this
no.
point. I've seen him
But I
come back
also
from
think
7-0. I've seen him lose big leads. He lost the lead last night and went to the hill. It's just, you know, he's been through the ringer this week.
it sets itself up pretty perfectly when I think about it for Federer because, it's all about this one. This is the matchup that you can't afford to play your subpar game. You know,
No,
not the way that Anton's playing right now. And I also feel like Anton's the biggest test that he's had up until this point of the whole tournament for Federer. I personally do. Now, if he dodges this, Mike, and if he can get out of the Anton trap, then I think it's cruising from there because I think he's gonna tear apart the pole, whoever it is, whether it's Wojciech or Victor. I really feel like
okay,
Federer's had their number pretty consistently. Obviously, they got a lot of experience playing on Euro tours. I think that Federer's just got that it factor against those guys. It's just my gut
yeah,
telling me this. But this is the match that you really got to get. You got to deliver your best game here if you're Federer, and it's going to be tough.
it's gonna be fun to watch.
It is going to be fun to watch. Give me your winner here, Mike, and then we'll get you out of here. Or actually, give me the guy coming out top and the guy coming out the bottom, and then we'll get your winner.
Uh, the 4 for tomorrow, or are we talking semi winners, finals?
Give me, give me the guy who you think is going to make the finals.
Um, I'm gonna go with Tachi. I'm gonna go with Victor.
Wow. And who do you got winning it, Mike?
Kachi.
Kachi's going to be the world champion according to Mike Panozzo. Yesterday I think we picked our winners, our four players, or Raymond did anyway. I don't even know how he's doing there. But I'm going to double down here, Mike. Up top, I got Jeff Ignacio coming through, and I got Federer coming through, with Jeff becoming the world
Wow.
champion of nine ball. I think he's just, call me crazy here, Mike. I think it's just it might be Jeff's time. What time does the Oh, it's already getting started, ain't it, Mike?
Oh yeah, they're doing the intros right now. You can't hear
Uh,
that?
I can hear something. I don't
Hear
know if they
you.
were if they were warming up or not, but Mike, we'll let you go. We appreciate you for stopping by. Go sweat the action. I'm gonna be watching from home. You guys go check out the Zone or Match from Pool. And thanks everybody for hanging out with us.